Wait for it, because this is history. Here it comes. Hello rail fans, and welcome to Real Trains 21 History. I've been saving this clip for a special occasion, and today we have a special occasion. But first, what are we looking at? We are looking at Norfolk Southern southbound train 30T. Now, this is 2006, and at the time this train was running from Buffalo to Allentown. Now, what makes this clip so special is this is the very first ever train that I recorded on video. The very first. Obviously, it wasn't the last. In later years, this would become a Montreal to Enola train as opposed to a Buffalo to Allentown train. And as you may know, this train typically ran with Canadian National Power. Today we have something even more colorful. A BNSF Heritage 2 locomotive, a Norfolk Southern DC Gevo still wearing its Gray Ghost paint, and an ex-Union Pacific, formerly Southern Pacific, tunnel motor, which we just talked about a few videos back. This is a last up for the ages. And like I said earlier, I've been saving this clip for a special occasion, and this video marks that special occasion. But first, let me let you off the hook. Despite the ominous sound of the title, when I say that this channel is changing, it only means good news for you. I'm rebooting the entire channel. In fact, I've already started it last year, and you might have noticed some changes to the layout of the home page. Rest be assured that there are many more changes to come. Far too many to talk about in one video and still keep things interesting, but here's a few of the major things that you can expect in the future. But before I get into that good stuff, I do have a couple of PSAs that I need to make. As part of this channel's reboot, I invested more than $5,000 in new cameras and gear back in December. And when I say that I invested more than $5,000, in fact, I mean I invested more than $5,000. I don't use credit cards. I pay cash. I do not use credit cards. I have not used a credit card in over 20 years. Back in the 90s was the last time I used a credit card, and that was for business purposes. But the point I'm getting at is this. You might have noticed that our rail fanning adventures have been taking us further and further away from northeastern Pennsylvania. And that's actually something that I had wanted to do. In fact, I talked about it in other videos in the past, back in 2020. But because of an unspecified virus of unknown origin, we know that the world was brought to its knees and completely shut down for a good period of time. So that kind of put the kibosh on the plans that I had that year. But now it's 2024, and with new camera gear and a new vehicle too, by the way, I can now move forward with those plans of going nationwide like I talked about. So starting this year in 2024, I will be going nationwide. Now, when I say nationwide, I'm primarily talking this year the eastern half of the United States, pretty much from Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas City, east. The West Coast will probably have to wait until next year, but we'll see how it goes. But the point being is this, and this is where this first PSA comes into play. That takes gas money. And gas is expensive these days, as I'm sure you know, especially you guys out in California. I don't know how y'all do it. I really don't. But anyway, there's a PayPal link, and this is my grift. There's a PayPal link in the description box. If you would like to donate to my little gas fund, I would really appreciate it. The money will be used for gas money to make these trips for this year. The money is going to be used for making trips out of town, if you can do it. Now, just like other PSAs that I've done or other fundraisers, I should say, not PSAs, there are a couple of provisos that go along with this, and they're the same ones you've heard before if you've heard my other ones. And that is number one. First of all, you must be 18, okay, to donate money to me. If you are not 18, and judging by YouTube's analytics, I don't have very many people under 18 that watch this channel. But if you happen to be under 18 and you're watching this channel and you're listening to this, please keep your money in your pocket or in your bank account. You must be 18 to donate. Believe me when I say a dollar is a dollar. It doesn't matter whose hand it comes from. But out of ethics, I can't accept money from anybody under 18. Well, I can, but I won't. That being said, I don't want you to put yourself out. I know times are hard for a lot of people these days. The economy's bad, inflation's high, prices are high. I get it. But if you're able to, I'd appreciate it. If you can't, I fully understand. And just remember, likes, comments, and shares, they're always free. And proviso number 3, and the last one too. I never want to hear of, and I always say never, but in this time I'm going to say never. I never want to hear about you taking food out of your own mouth, or God forbid a child's mouth, to donate to me. I never want to hear about that, okay? I'll say this again. Times are hard for a lot of people. You might be one of those people that are hit hard. If you are, I fully understand, so don't feel guilty if you can't. But if you can, please do. Like I said, this money will go towards buying gas, toward making trips this year. And there's a lot of trips that I have in mind, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. It would just be way too long. But I've already made numerous trips to Binghamton, New York, and other places, which I'll be highlighting in videos this month. And that brings me to the next thing. Even though it may not seem like it, I know you might laugh when you hear this, but this is the God's honest truth, okay? I actually try to put out a video every single day. Now, the reason I say that is because I know in the past, I'd say maybe in the past 6 months to a year or so, it's been kind of like choppy, like feast to famine. You know, you'll get an onslaught of videos and you won't hear from me for a month or two. Well, that's not because I'm intentionally doing that. That's because there's just a lot going on. And I'm not going to get into the drama that can sometimes be in my personal life, but just know that there's a lot that's going on. And because of that, unfortunately, I'm not able to put out videos every day like I would like to. At least I haven't been able to. I think, in fact, I'm sure that I can put out a video at least every other day, every 3 days at the bare minimum. I'm certainly going to try. But just so you know, I do try to put out a video every day. But some of these videos, they just take a long time to make, to go through the editing. And trust me, there's a lot more to these videos than just putting the clips together. There's a lot of sound editing that goes in here so that the videos are seamless, the sound is seamless as possible, so you're not getting jolted, mid-video and stuff like that. But there's a lot. There's color grading that goes into it. There's writing out the script. There's recording the script. There's linking it up to the script. There's syncing it up to the video. Then you have to render the video. Then you have to upload it. Then you have to wait for it to process and do all the other stuff that goes on with it. Trust me when I say that a typical video, even a 5-minute video, can take several hours to make when you factor in everything that goes into it. And I'm not talking about the actual recording of the video itself, which means you have to be on location to do that. And if I'm out of town someplace, well, guess what? That takes gas money, which brings us back to my first PSA. I like how I threw that in there. But seriously, though, all jokes aside, it is a lot of work, and I enjoy doing it. But unfortunately, like I said, because of some things that have been going on in other parts of my life, I haven't been able to put as much time into it as I wanted to, but I'm getting back into that now that the weather is getting warm. Now, the next PSA is this, and this is something I've been meaning to do for over a year too, and I don't think I do it enough, so we're going to rectify that now, and that is thanking you, the viewer. I know I don't say this a lot, but I really do appreciate you watching the videos, liking the videos, commenting on the videos. All of that helps out the channel. It really does. And I've even noticed a feature that I didn't realize was a thing with YouTube until just recently, but there's, I can't remember what it's called, like a shout out feature where you can mention me on other channels or something, or on your channel, something like that. You might know what I'm talking about, but it is a thing on YouTube, and I noticed that some people have been shouting me out. So thank you for all of, for that, for shouting me out to other channels or however that works. I appreciate it. Like I said, every little bit helps the channel. So keep doing what you're doing, whether it's watching the videos, liking the videos, commenting on the videos, or giving me money. Whatever it is, just keep doing it. Like I said, it helps the channel a lot, and I appreciate it. Now, as far as the whole reboot goes, you may not realize this, but if you look back at my first video, it was published in 2016. But I've actually had this channel since 2014. It just took me 2 years, actually 2.5 years before I uploaded anything to it. I started this channel right around February 2014. That's also when I came back to rail fanning full time, because for a time I was truck driving all over the country. And I was shooting some video too, and that brings me to another thing, if I may digress here. I do have some video shot in 2006 from Memphis and from Nashville. And you've seen some of the photos from those in videos, but you have not seen the footage yet. There's actually there's some quite a bit of video footage, CSX from Nashville and the BNSF from Memphis on the old Frisco line that I shot in 2006. And then there's a bunch of pictures from the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s. Yeah, I'm that old. That I want to get out to you, but I have to get a hold of it. I won't get into the story, but I don't have immediate access to it at the moment. And while I'm thinking about this, I didn't mention this before, but when I was talking about I invested more than $5,000 in gear, I do have a drone now. Yes, I do. I have a drone. I have not been able to fly it yet. But just so you know, I do have a drone, so you'll be getting drone footage along with my other videos. Right now, I'm actually working with, if you can believe this, I kid you not, 9 cameras. I have 9 different cameras, and I'm going to buy a 10th one, so I have a nice even 10 cameras. Let me give you an example. The video that you just saw on the tunnel motors, that took 4 or 5 cameras to record that. I used 4 or 5 different cameras. Now, I don't know if you noticed the different angles and whatnot else, but the bottom line is there were 3 or 4 cameras on the ground, and then I was hand-holding a camera. So you got the benefit of 5 cameras and several different audio tracks that were blended together to give you that seamless feel, if you will. So this is what I'm talking about when I say that I'm rebooting the channel. I'm very, very much watching the quality of the videos. And that's another reason why videos don't always get published every day. Sometimes there's just not enough time to make a good video. Oh my gosh. I've been talking almost 12 minutes now. See, that's why you don't put a microphone in my hand. I don't know when to stop. That's why I also write scripts, because then I do know when to stop. Okay, well, you know what? Let's move this along here. So, all right, so what do we talk about? Okay, we talked about my little grift for gas money. So, like I said, if you can help out, please do. I could certainly use it, and it'll give me the ability to make even more trips out of town. I'm going to be doing mainly the eastern half of the United States this year. I may get out to the West Coast. I can't say I won't. I can't say that I will. But whether I do or I don't, I will be getting out there at some point in the not-too-distant future. It's just that the West is so spread out, and I know firsthand because I've driven it many times. Okay, you get it. I've driven it many times, okay? I've been in San Francisco, Los Angeles. I've been everywhere except Portland and Seattle, okay? But anyway, it's very spread out, and it just adds a lot of time to a trip with nothing really to show for it except highway miles. So, but like I said, I will be getting out to the West Coast at some point in the not-too-distant future. Maybe this year, maybe not. But with that much being said, I will be getting as far as Texas this year. And who knows? I may just end up in your backyard. And I told you that I started YouTube in 2014, which makes this year my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. Like I said, I didn't upload a video until 2016. So if you want to look at it from that perspective, it's my 8-year anniversary. But for all intents and purposes, it is technically speaking my 10-year anniversary on YouTube. So that's an occasion and a milestone in and of itself. That being the case, I want to talk about the main reason why I started this channel, and that is for my video series, The History of Railroading in Northeastern Pennsylvania. The whole reason why I started this channel was because I felt that the history of railroading in Northeastern Pennsylvania, the story hadn't been told right. Northeastern Pennsylvania is one of the most important places in America when it comes to not only the birth of this nation, but also the development of this nation. The first steam engines were operated here in the mines of Carbondale. And there's a lot of other history, some of which I've talked about, but most of which I have not been able to get to. So in addition to rebooting the channel itself, I'm also going to be rebooting the series, The History of Railroading in Northeastern Pennsylvania. So I do want to give you a little heads up now that I'm going to be taking I think I did maybe 5, 6, maybe 7 episodes so far, but I'm going to be taking those down, and I'm going to be taking the best parts of those, or the more significant parts. I'll put them into a video. So for the new pilot episode of The History of Railroading in Northeastern Pennsylvania, you will see some stuff that you've seen before. But after that, I'm going to be going on location and showing you the now and then of places with historical pictures and, you know, my commentary, of course. And who knows, you might even see me in front of the camera for once. We'll have to see how that works out. maybe I'll get motivated enough to do that. We'll just have to see. But in addition to that, okay, let's see what we talked about. Okay, I told you about the drone. I told you about trying to make daily videos. Okay, when I do go out of town, it's going to be in a series again that I started, but I only ever got one video, maybe two videos out of it, and that's a series called On Location. And for the most part, that is typically a high traffic main line where you'll see me at for that series, because I won't be doing a whole lot of commentary or exposition. I'll just be focusing on the trains itself. And that's why you see it in places like Harrisburg and Cove, and you might see it along Union Pacific's 3-track main out there in Nebraska, or wherever there's just a high amount of traffic. Norfolk Southern, Chicago line, just to name a couple of places. The BNSF, their ex-Santa Fe line between LA and Chicago. Stuff like that. That's the On Location series. But also, I'll be doing a lot of smaller railroads, which is what I'm really excited about. I'll be touching on short lines, regionals, passenger trains, commuter trains, trolleys, switching and terminal railroads, as well as museums, steam trains, rare locomotives and cars, and stuff like that. Basically, I'm trying to take my attention away from Norfolk Southern and Class 1s. Not because I have any grievances with them. Well, I do. It's called PSR, but that's a whole other story. But no, I just feel like I want to touch on these other railroads and these other subjects of railroading, because they all make up the total picture. You know, there's more to, obviously I don't have to tell you, there's more to railroading than Class 1s. I mean, yeah, seeing, modern high-tech locomotives, that's nice, but I love seeing the old horses, the old workhorses. That's what really gets me going. So I'll also be hitting the Reading and Northern really hard. I got a lot of comments, well, I won't say a lot, but I did get comments that people really enjoy the Reading and Northern videos, and it is a very eclectic railroad. In fact, maybe the most eclectic railroad in the nation. And we're lucky to have that right here in good old northeastern Pennsylvania. And just so you know, if you happen to be a fan of my northeastern Pennsylvania content, it's not going anywhere. I'm just going to be doing less of it to make room for nationwide content. But trust me when I say, I've shot more than 5,000 trains in northeastern Pennsylvania, and you've only seen maybe a couple hundred of them. Okay, so I've got plenty of Sunbury Line content and content from northeastern Pennsylvania to keep you satisfied, in addition to the new stuff that I'm bringing in. So, like I said, if you're a fan of northeastern Pennsylvania, you won't be disappointed in days, months, and years to come. And with that, we're getting into my neck of the woods, so I guess this would be an appropriate time for me to sign off. Thanks for listening.